John here, John Barry. Today's review will be on another Player's Kai, Final Fantasy XV's Gladiolus Amicitia, whatever his last name is stupid. Box. Here is the front. As always, it can be opened. Anyways, the right side, the back side, the left side, the top, and the bottom. And now we're back to the front. Details. Well, I would say the paint job here is magnificent. It is beautiful, from the shoe to the hair. Even the color black is different throughout the entire body. There's a glossy black and a matte black. And take a look at those badass wing tattoos on both of his arms. Of course, they are clean. For the sculpt, it's marvelous with the wrinkles and bends across the body. His jacket is sculpted amazingly and detailed out. His got pockets and metallic silver buttons. Also, his necklace is even sculpted on. Now, let's take a look at his belt. To be honest, it just looks blah. Why? Because Ignis and Promptos have skulls on their belts to make it unique. But this guy just has a typical belt with a ton of sweet silver buttons. If we open his jacket, you will see his muscles. Just look at them. They got that sexy shading, which makes them pop out even more. And check out his eagle tattoo. It is painted wonderfully. Anyway, moving on to his back. Like Prompto, it is full of symbols and text, but this time he got an eagle rather than a skull. And here, his head. I really like the face's sculpt, just a very nice face. I lied! It's a sexy face with a sexy scar that runs down his right eye. And once again, Square Enix doesn't overshade his face, but there is some shading to be found on the edges of the face. Oh, and I love the way the Square Enix does his facial hair. Just look at it. What about his regular hair? Well, it reminds me of Fang from Final Fantasy XIII, but it is sculpted fantastically. Especially his overlaying hair. And check out his shoes. It's a sparkly black, and it has a weird texture. I think it's supposed to simulate leather. And if you look at the soles of his shoes, it's even detailed out here as well. Accessories. He comes with the standard parts, which are his 2 default fists, 2 open hands for posing, and 2 holding hands for holding his weapon. And his one big majestic sword. Just look at it. It's so beautiful. I really dig these gold paint. Everything on this sword, from the paint to the sculpt, is just stunning. Articulations. The head can look up very nicely for the first time on a Final Fantasy figure. Can look down. His neck joint and his head joint are different. His head joint can twist like that, and so can his neck. Can bend to side to side like that as well. Very nicely. His arms can go parallel to the ground like that. Very smooth. His arm can go forward like that and back like that. You can twist it as well. His elbows can go up like that very nicely. And his wrist, you can twist them. And you could have this weird joint to it as well. His upper chest, well, since they don't have a shirt here, you clearly can see this articulation line right there. His upper chest can move down and up and like that, but not that much. You can also twist it a tiny bit, but also not that much. His bottom abdomen here can move side to side like that, and twist it as well. His legs, you could make them move forward like that very nicely. Big boots, and all the way back like that for yoga. You can also twist him very slightly. His knees can bend all the way back like that, very nicely, double jointed. His toes, well, his feet can move up and down like that, just very slightly. It's very stiff, which kind of sucks. You can twist them like that. And yeah, that's about it for articulation. Measuring. He stands at 11 inches. Here is a quick comparison to his teammate Ignis, and a comparison to his teammate Prompto. And here to my childhood hero, Kamen Rider Zio. And now, for my final thoughts. This figure just might be my favorite out of the 3 Final Fantasy figures 15s that I have. Why, you may ask? Well, it's because this figure is massive. He's got some sweet articulation, very good paint job, and the body is sculpted fantastically. Oh, and we can't forget his big badass sword. And to me, this is a great example of what Square Enix can do when they put their effort in. Therefore, it definitely deserves John Barry's thumbs up of approval. Now, 4 down, 1 to go. I'll see you again on the review of the last Final Fantasy 15 character, Noctis. Later.